When do you propose the renovation on the inside will be completed so that we can get this furniture out of storage?
Whenever council wants to release some money to help do that.
The day is not my lucky day.
It is not. Our goal actually is at least 26 to have some kind of movement on the inside. That would be our goal. We would love it this year. But just to prove not only to the council and to the mayor, but to our community that this is possible.
Well, you know, and everything is great. And I really think it's going in the right direction. But you know, every year we have to put in the budget furniture storage, and so if we're to hold up, I guess it'll be in the budget next year.
Well, what we probably could do, as long as we can guarantee that the water is not coming into the building, because we have AC, so that would keep it, the humidity down.
The plan is, once we got construction underway in the new city hall, actually using that storage space until that is done, which we're in the process where you saw the concept for the ground floor. The architect is currently working on the construction drawings for that, and we should have that going very soon.
We as a city, we've been dragging our feet because ever since I've been in office, we've been talking about renovating the Orange Hall, and we haven't done anything except beautify the outside.
Short of having the big bucket of money, so to speak, as the mayor says, there's nothing we can't fix with time and money. But we've allocated money in there to get stuff done, and we've been getting stuff done along. And but I think we're real close on that bottom floor.
Okay.
But until then, we can make money on the outside for the grounds.
If that gets approved, then we'll start making money there, and that will cover the cost of the storage alone, just to start off with.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Of course, we all went into Orange Hall, what it was, two or 3 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
And I'm the person that's in place to be working with these ladies on the Orange Hall committee. And the Orange Hall is not in super good shape, to say the least. It's going to take a lot of money to be able to get that complex back to going. But I certainly believe we can do that step by step. We can do it by floor. We certainly can't do it all at one time. But just like some people have said, you know, little bites turn into big bites. You know, and and I'm certainly willing to do my job to work and try to get anything possible for this project. Heck, there's probably, I mean, if you lived here all your life, you've seen Orange Hall all your life.
Yep.
You know, so I don't know exactly how old it is, 18 something, I'm sure. But, you know, it's a beautiful, beautiful building in downtown St. Mary's, and I would love to see it totally redone before I pass on. So hopefully that's something that we can do, and these ladies are working extremely hard. I can assure you of that. And without them, we wouldn't be successful, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Maybe we can look at some grant money for that also.
Well, and I know I attended one of their meetings and they presented some of this information. Robbie, what do we need to do to kind of move forward with the promotion of marketing the Orange Hall for these particular types of uses? Set a fee schedule? I mean, what's the process we need to follow?
Yes,
for
sir.
that?
We'll present you at the next council meeting the fee structure for Orange Hall specifically, the grounds and different kinds of events. If it's just using the cook shed, if it's using all the grounds, but we'll have all that broken out for you. They've worked very hard at getting those numbers compiled.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Okay, we move on to setting the consent agenda.
You want to go ahead and bring you want to bring it up? Yeah, okay, I'm ready for my appointment on the CVB board.
Okay, you go ahead and do that.
Yep. I'd like to have an appointment to the CV board. Her name is Penny Blunt. And she's a quality individual, and she'll be an added plus, right, Angela?
Yes, sir.
So are you motioning that, Mr. Rassi?
Yep.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second to Mr. Ingham.
It don't matter.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
As we set the consent agenda, I'd like to make a motion, as we discussed, to rearrange the agenda slightly to, after we set the consent agenda, that we have the manager report, and then we have our granting audience to the public for the first session to be on agenda items and anything only, and remove the second set of comments.
Okay,
Did I say that right?
yep, and then we'll do the actual approval of the,
Agenda
of the
after.
consent agenda after comments.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Second?
second by Mr. Rassi. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous, Madam Clerk.
And,
Yes, sir.
I would also like, as we before we set the consent agenda, to add an agenda item in relation to our work session for city personnel pay. If we could add that to the agenda,
Okay, as,
that I guess.
okay, as Adam L.
M.
M. We have an L.
I don't have the most recent. I guess you put that on my desk somewhere and I didn't pick it up. Where's
Here you
my
go.
copy go? You got
It's
it?
got an L. Yeah, I printed it out. There's an L. Yeah, that's
That's
an
not a
L.
copy. Okay, so M.
M. Work session, city personnel
And-
pay.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to add personnel to the executive session as well.
And M is going to be tabled. Okay, so again at the beginning, so a resolution confirming and memorializing the 60-day alcohol moratorium.
Sir, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
you said you were adding something else?
Oh, were you adding something too?
I heard something about a moratorium, I'm sorry.
No, that was item A. We were going down the consent
Right,
agenda.
I'm
so-
sorry, I didn't hear the vote, I heard the motion to do the adding, but I didn't hear, the actual vote that took place.
Oh, we didn't vote to add that.
Okay, so we need to actually vote to add those items to the agenda first.
Yes, sir,
Before we set the
I'd
agenda.
like to make a motion to add
That's right.
item M, the work session for personnel pay, and the executive session personnel.
Second.
to the agenda.
Okay, second by Steve,
Yes, sir.
by Mr. Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? It's unanimous, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that.
Okay, now back to setting the consent agenda. We have a consent on item A. Community Development Block Grant Application for Senior Parking Lot.
Discuss.
Discuss. Exit 1 Project Easement Agreement between Radiant St. Mary's LLC and City of St. Mary's. Fire State Access Road, new water plant construction, Phase 1A Access Road, Esplanade Boulevard, new lift station, number 79, and Access Road.
Consent.
Consent.
Budget ordinance amendment fiscal year 2025 St. Mary's Mardi Gras Week events.
Consent.
Item E, memorandum of understanding between the Camden County Sheriff's Office, Kingsland Police Department, Naval Criminal Investigative Services, and St. Mary's Police Department for the Joint Camden Action Team, JCAT.
Consent.
Item F, resolution to extend 60-day moratorium on new major subdivisions.
Consent.
Consent.
Item G, certification of special use permit denial for catering, kitchen, food production business on tax parcel 134B, 339B, 325 Gary Circle for Robert G. Gazzara.
Consent.
Consent.
Item H, certification of special use permit denial for manufactured home on tax parcel S39090004 for Sarah Birch.
Consent.
Item I, reverse subdivision final plat request for 101 and 103 Helm Court for Stephen Garish.
Consent.
J, minor subdivision final plat request for tax parcel 121K001 for Hog LLC.
Consent.
K, minor subdivision final plat request for Thomas and Denise Butler, tax parcel 160C101.
Consent.
Item L, local update maintenance improvement grant, LMIG location and completion date deadlines for awards and current future LMIG applications.
Discuss.
Discuss.
Okay. And item M, payroll for public work staff.
Discuss.
Discuss.
All right, so for items to be discussed, just to review that, since that's the short list, we'll be discussing the CDBG application for the senior parking lot. We will be discussing the LMIG status and the payroll of public works, those three items. So with that, we are now going to have our city manager provide us with his management report.
Vote on that.
No, sir, we're not going to vote until after public comment.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. You've just witnessed the Orange Hall update, so we don't need to go into that. There is a revised TAP grant schedule that's attached with some minor changes in. You can see them in red. The Outdoor Stewardship Program survey is ongoing. There you'll see stakes along the route where they're planning to put that multi-use path. The engineering design for lift station 13 and 15, the force main separation. The EPA grant was awarded but put on hold due to federal stop work order on all grants. So that's where that one's at. Currently, the staffing level to include the ditch crew, they're at 48 positions with 4 part-timers. 4 of those full-time employee vacancies plus the ditch crew is what we have vacant, and we have 2 out on medical leave. General information. The ditch crew has finished digging the ditches in Woodlawn Drive section of Crooked River and will be moving into the Sunnyside Drive area from here.
One question, real quick, Mr. Horton.
Sir?
On the 2 lift stations, have those property easements situations been handled? So
They have not been completed, no, sir.
Not been completed.
No, sir. Am I correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Final reimbursement on grants. The final reimbursement for the Tag 1 grant has been submitted and approved pending reimbursement due to funding freeze. The CDBG application is due April 4th and will potentially fund the senior center parking lot. Due to highly competitive nature of this application, award is not guaranteed. The T-Mobile Hometown Grant is in progress and it's due March 31st. This opportunity will fund shading for the aquatic center. The car seat safety grant for the police department is in progress, due April 1st. This opportunity will fund car seats and car seats for those in need in the community. The firehouse safety grant is due April 4th. This application is in progress and will fund the fire station bounce house for community events. IT, the roadmap is still ongoing. We have a plan for future developments and possibility for IT infrastructure in the city. Working through desktop deployments for the city, updating the website this week with request. The battery backup replacement will be completed tomorrow evening in the off hours. IT is currently working with vendors on pricing as well as verifying services. We are also in the need of scheduling a We need to schedule a recycle date for e-cycling, decommissioning old equipment. In the Finance Department, the budget workshop for staff and council has been scheduled for Wednesday, April the 30th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If necessary, a secondary workshop will be held on Thursday, May 1st at 9 a.m. if necessary. Okay, council, that's April the 30th and May the 1st. Okay. Police Department, Jonathan Oliver will be starting April the 2nd as a patrol sergeant. Another offer has been sent to a second officer. If he takes the offer, that will leave us with 2 openings in that department. Main Street, the renewal session is in full swing. That's regarding business license. We've renewed around 70% of our current licensing. Deadline for renewals is 4/15/25. The Midtown RSVP and branding study survey should go out in the next round of water bills. A QR code for survey will circulate online via social media and website by the end of the week. In-person input sessions are scheduled for April the 22nd, with more information to come in the next few weeks. The Midtown Block Party featuring Kids in Entrepreneur Market was a huge success. That was on Saturday. And Taste of Camden is on April the 27th on the Orange Hall grounds. In tourism, March 2nd, the Family Mardi Gras event in the park, approximately 4,500 people attended. On March the 4th, Fat Tuesday Feast Festival, approximately 3,600 people attended. Tourism organized the parade. Main Street organized the park. Staff completed CPR, AED, and Narcan training with SMFD. Successful community yard sale and downtown sidewalk sale on March the 8th. Mardi Gras wrap-up meeting, Independence Day Festival, permitting, and some other marketing has been completed. She's working through the budget process. And they're also, please pay attention, they have served as early voting precinct April 8th through the 14th. And voting day is March the 18th. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow for those of you that haven't voted. Community Development. The Community Development Department is excited to release a new key web-based communication tool aimed at increasing data availability and guidance to our residents and business owners. The first is an online brochure detailing all the necessary steps and permitting for starting a business within the city, including points of contact for each step. This brochure is available in the frequently asked questions section of the Community Development website, City of St. Mary's, Georgia. In collaboration with the Building Department and our GIS specialist at the Coastal Regional Commission, we have created a community development dashboard. The dashboard updated monthly and is web-based and geolocated. Searchability tally of new residential dwelling permits and land use applications. It can be accessed on the Community Development dashboard page of our website, Community Development Dashboard. Lastly, our tree keeper data is live and soon to be posted on the website, working in collaboration with the tree board and funded through the Trees Across Georgia grant. Tree Keeper is a geolocated survey of more than 3,000 trees within the right-of-way or on city property. The web-based survey includes not just location, but size, canopy, details, and specific characteristics. That is the Tree Keeper 8 system for St. Mary's, Georgia. Senior Center, we just completed a successful meeting with the hospital authority to discuss funding for programming and field trips for the seniors. We are very excited about where the Senior Center is heading, and we are raising the bar on how a community looks out for their senior populations. We have expanded our fitness and arts program with some additional funding from the hospital authority. We are well on our way to offer a great activity center for all seniors. We are hosting a celebration for our 1-year anniversary in the new location on May the 21st at 11 a.m. and invite the council of today and former members of last year as well as members of the hospital authority, to please come in for our dedication in the senior center. And last thing, I would like to take the opportunity to remind everyone, please, if you have not done it, please vote. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council, unless y'all have a question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rabbit.
Okay, so with that, we will now have our granting audience to the public. And if you'll come forward, give us your name and address, and let's say try to keep it to 5 minutes or less. And
Good evening.
Just remind you also, Ms. Moore, that this, now with the change in the agenda, this is for all items on the agenda or not.
Understand, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Good evening, council, mayor, staff. Robert Moore, 509 Westgate Circle. You see that I brought a tax deduction with me. This is Eli. The last time he was around this many councilmen, he was 2 on my shoulders when you guys came out to Crooked River to look at my ditches. And I just happened to see a city marked van or something like that drive by, so I snatched them up and we ran out and flagged them down. I said, I'll show you what the problem is. So, well, welcome back. You're a little younger than when I brought your sister up here. I'll start with a little levity. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language. I'm from the government and I'm here to help, from President Reagan. Orange Hall. I'm glad to see that there's a plan to monetize it. I think Councilman Rassi and Jones are the only ones that heard it before COVID. I thought the only way to monetize it was to do Money Pit 2 with Tom Hanks, and that was about it. So, in some kind of crashing tub through the floor. Splost. You guys can't say it. I can. I voted for Splost. Vote for Splost because those New Jersey and New York tags that try to kill you on Boone, they can help pay for some of it instead of just me as a property owner. Mardi Gras. I appreciate the sentiment, trying to get something off. I opined before, why compete? Sadly, we lost it to Kingsland. I was talking to Lisa James before she left office about the history of St. Mary's with the pecan tree. I know you guys say it other ways, and I'll loop back to that. We have a historic marker. I think it's Weed and Ready Street, talking about pecans growing here in St. Mary's. Why not have a pecan festival? Barbecue smoked with pecan wood, pecan pies, pralines, and then have a competition where is it pronounced pecan or pecan? And then whoever, you can buy a ticket for 50 cents a dollar, and then at the end of it, that money, or whichever way it goes, that's how you pronounce it the next year. And then, you know, you can rally the troops and say, over my dead body, it's not a pecan, it's a pecan. And then I guess you bust out a 20 next time. Culverts. I think we're there. Has anyone with the staff or the council reached out to Kingsland and the county on how they enforce, how do they address the lack of maintenance or culverts that need to be replaced by the property owner? There's a history of us comparing ourselves to Kingsland. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I don't know. But those are the 2 local municipalities right down the road, and I think you guys all have phone numbers to that staff. The next 2 sentences in a second. And with that, the ideas. I've been out there over a decade now. You're going to have to do mailers to the GIS owners, the contact on the property, and also physically to the address for renter tenants, possibly code enforcement knocking on the door, and also social media, maybe even some yard signs with QR codes that when they scan the code, it goes right to a city website with an advisory, hey, this is what's going on, we're digging it, and you may have a culvert that needs to be addressed. The pay, now I've heard that it's for public works. I think the way I perceived it was $2 across the board for everybody. Put money into the staff that needs to be retained, and also for the more senior in the public works in those positions, so you don't have pay compression and you're kind of slapping the loyal workers. And there's also the upcoming COLA adjustment in the budget next year. So I want to circle back around. The last thing is burning. I have asked at the last few meetings, and I have brought Section 50, Tax 70, residential burning. Again, I got a verbal warning for not having a permit. I asked what was the difference between my appliance, a steel burn barrel, and a nice fire pit. The residential burning talks about it can't be within 50 feet of a structure. So how many people on their back porch with wood and Adirondack chairs and some kind of libation are violating that? And I doubt they call for a permit. It does talk about that unless the permit is expressly approved by the fire chief or his or her designated representative, all fires are supposed to be out at sundown, unless that's an outdoor fire. Well, what's an outdoor fire? Is that on the ground or is that in an appliance outside? Don't know. But in residential burning, burning materials other than leaves originating on the premises is prohibited. So even if you cut down your own oak tree or any other tree, by that you can't burn it in your fireplace. You can't import it and buy a bulk load from Lowe's or some good old boy that clears trees. So I'm just asking for some kind of relief because, well, I'd rather not tie up time of Cumberland Services and much rather just go ahead and burn my yard debris. But I've got old boy on the other side of the fence that I know is going to call. So if I can get some kind of ruling on the plate. So
That's your time, Mr. Mayor.
okay, thank you.
And,
We ran out of time. Let's
A
go.
little later, we will, we had asked Chief Lackner to get up and kind of address that issue because, we have heard from you a few times, so he'll be making a brief presentation a little bit later, so. All right, anyone else? Might be you.
My fancy chair with the elevator on it is in the shop right now, so I'm going to have to pull this down here. I'm Jay Moreno, 501 Victoria Circle in St. Mary's, Georgia. And for God's sake, let me turn my hearing aids down just a minute before I blow myself out here. Okay, good. Okay, but anyway, first of all, I wanted to note that on the agenda, it's showing a second granting of audience to the public at the end of the meeting. Is that still operative?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So that's a misprint. Okay,
Well,
good.
The ordinance, has to be adjusted by ordinance. And which is why we're making motions to do it during the, and so until that's done, it has to be published like this. And so
Okay.
we're about ready, I think, to make our permanent ordinance change, and then we'll have to go through this dance every time. But that's why it's the way it is.
Okay, great. What I want to talk to you all about, and I've emailed you guys repeatedly about my concerns about the disposition of this city property from this corner to the next corner down once you get moved into the new city hall. And one of my concerns is, I know from this life experience, just as sure as I'm sitting here, if you leave these buildings standing, you're going to have people lining up 10 deep representing various, charitable organizations and so forth. Say, gee, I sure would like to use this building or that building for my food distribution or whatever. And naturally, they're going to want to use it for free and the city continue to pay the utilities. Now, just recently, as a matter of fact, today, I discovered on social media, specifically on the thing called Nextdoor, there's a bunch of people now discussing, and this is shades of when the post office was moved. Oh my God, if we don't keep the city hall building, it's all historic and whatever, and we, tear everything down, it'll be the end of life as we know it in St. Mary's. Well, of course, the post office moved and life goes on. I really think that you guys would save yourselves a lot of headaches if the day after you complete the move into City Hall, have a wrecking crew start at this corner or that corner, either one, and clear every single city-owned building, raise it to the ground, throw out a few grass seeds, and for God's sake, don't break it up into smaller parcels. Make it one continuous parcel so that a developer will have enough land to make it worth his while to come in here and do something really good with the property. And another thing that I've talked to y'all about, though I'm not any longer a practicing Catholic, I did have the advantage in Savannah of going to Catholic schools, including one called BC, y'all might have heard of down here. And, I had an excellent education. To me, a great use of this property would be to have the church right behind us here build a parochial school on the entire block. If you went, say, 2 stories, you could easily have K through 8, and if you went 3 stories, you could have K through 12. And my guess is that seeing as how the church, as you well know, I'm sure as a member, is under the Diocese of Savannah, and to this day, I'm sure the diocese still considers Camden County missionary territory down here. So there's no doubt in my mind that, they would be able to kick in some funding to help build such a school. And I'm sure that, although I know the membership tends to be a little, tilted towards empty nesters, I think. But between the base and so forth, I just have to believe that there's enough children that either are children of Catholic parents or would like a good parochial school education. And with the coming demise of the Department of Education and the ubiquity of vouchers, I think that such a school would fly. And if it was made, architecturally to mimic the church as far as the finish and so forth, that would be a really good looking thing here on this block. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
All right. Anyone else? Since we don't really specifically have it on the agenda, perhaps Chief, you'd like to come up at this time and share that information with us?
I know Mr. Moore is very interested in the burn, what you're allowed to do in the state of Georgia and what you're not. Went just to the Georgia website a couple weeks ago when this came up. And what you are allowed to burn: yard debris and natural vegetation. You can burn hand-piled natural vegetation, yard debris, agricultural burns, prescribed burns with a permit, and recreational burns, which is campfires and barbecues, which you are not allowed to do in the state of Georgia. Burning garbage or lumber. That includes tires, shingles, plastic, lumber, other than man-made materials is illegal, even in a burn barrel. So if it's a 2x4 or 1x2, whatever, if it's been cut in a sawmill, you can't burn it. Summer burn ban in most of the northern counties start May 1st and go to September 30th. Burning after dark and on Sunday. Burning in winds excess of 15 miles an hour. Burning in overcast or rainy and foggy days. That is out of the state law. So burning man-made lumber is still illegal.
Pull the mic closer to you.
Okay.
Or stand closer to the mic with you.
Question. So a campfire or
Campfire.
Does a burn barrel is that so a burn barrel, if you're burning your yard waste that you said you could burn natural vegetation, you can't do it in a burn
You
barrel?
can do it in a burn barrel. Open burning, wood burning fire pits are often considered a form of open burning because they involve burning wood in open air or semi-closed spaces. However, in many jurisdictions, you're allowed to do that using a fire pit or a recreational purpose, such as a cooking fire or a warming fire, keeping the fire contained within a designed pit or the bowl. So whatever the container is, that's what it is. And following safety guidelines regarding size and placement. Now, I don't know how many burn barrels come with a safety design saying you can only put the wood this high up, it's gotta be this dimensions, you gotta keep it cool.
So we're saying you can't use a burn barrel, or you
You can use the burn barrel just for your leaves and limbs. You can't use it for anything else.
but you can use it for like tree limbs?
Just-
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna measure a limb to see.
Yeah,
it.
just
what
I was
will-
making definitions, that's all.
What was the
That's-
restrictions as far as time of day?
Out by dark and not allowed on Sunday.
And now, is that recreational warming fires as well?
No warming fires and cooking fires. That's up, you know, if you have a hot dog out there, in a nice little
So if
container.
you got s'mores on a stick, that's,
That's a cooking fire.
Or if you're just trying to stay warm.
Yes, ma'am, if you're trying to
Well,
sit there
okay.
and you have something in your hand and you're
I guess the
enjoying a little
reason-
fire.
The reason I wanted the chief to share this is that this is state law, it's not city ordinance, it's, you know, it's really not something that specifically we can change because it is state law or whatever, so, and people do things they're not supposed to do in places they're not supposed to do it. They don't always get caught. No, you know, they don't always have someone who turns them in for, you know, or calls the police to come out or check on them or whatever. You know, doesn't make it right, but it happens nonetheless, and there's really not much you can do about it if you don't know about it.
So Chief, if, are you talking about wood that's treated that you can't burn, sir?
any
Lumber.
processed,
Any type of lumber?
processed lumber.
Okay, yes, sir, thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Get this down here. Okay. Name is Roger Shaw, 30 Marymount Court, St. Mary's. Yeah, I live off Winding Road, and there's a couple of things on Winding Road I want to talk about. One, I've talked to Councilman Connors. He's come out and looked at the situation with the flashing lights for the school zone on Charlie Smith Highway. There is no flashing lights on Winding Road. There is no flashing lights coming out of, where? Crooked River Phase 1. The lights out there to the north end are way out, way far out. And the signage there on Winding Road is very hard to see, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Coach Connor can verify for that. And you know, I don't know what the story is now. There's people now that are moving into that area. Now there's more and more subdivisions in that area, and they've gotten tickets. And a lot of them gotten tickets. Now they just travel at 35 miles an hour, no matter what time of day it is or anything else. So you got traffic all piled up on top of them, tailgating and everything else. I don't know what the story is about getting those flashing lights on there, but I think it would be really good. I know in Atlanta right now, they're talking about doing away with all school cameras, which I think is wrong. I think they should have the school cameras there, but there should be a way to alert the public that the school is now in session, because there's no way to tell there now. Second thing, Winding Road and Colerain. Last Thursday, 2 o'clock, I was heading out towards the hospital, and there was a horrendous collision there. I was traveling from the east to the west, and a car was hit and was thrown all the way over to the southeast corner of that intersection. Now, I don't know what the injuries were on that. I've been up here talking about this and talking about this. Robbie knows I've been talking about it. And I said, if it's going to take a 3-person fatality before something happens, and believe me, if something happens like that, the person that is killed, the family of the person who killed, will have Morgan & Morgan on your guy's butt right away. Doesn't matter if it's GDOT or not. You will be in the lawsuit. Thank you.
Any others? Okay, I'll close the grand audience to the public, and we will now go ahead and take our vote on setting the consent agenda. So once again, we have for consent all items other than item B. So, L and M. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ingram, second by Mr. Rassi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous, madam.
Yes, sir.
And we have no old business. So our new business then, our first item will be the Community Development Block Grant Application for Seniors Parking Lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it says Community Development Block Grant Application, but we've also had something happen since we placed this on the agenda. Staff, as we wrapped up our meeting 2 weeks ago on Tuesday morning, pulled up the computer and there's an email with a block grant. Miss Crystal Cherry, our grant writer, Miss Crystal, has been working very diligently on a grant, which is a very competitive grant. It's a block grant. It's associated with the Department of Community Affairs. I'm sorry, just about left me. I got it though. But has been working very hard. But we received a phone call on Wednesday of last week that there was going to be a discussion. Today I received the following email, and I'll read it to you on Thursday, I'm sure with you.
Thank you.
It's coming. You need some help? Thanks, sir.
The email is from Mr. Jay Laster, who is the chair of the St. Mary's Hospital Authority. Robbie, and by the way, Mr. Laster, it's spelled with a Y. Thank you. Our Hospital Authority meeting on Friday, March 14th, 2025, there was discussion regarding the parking lot project at the Senior Center, as well as the issue with the council at the last council meeting declining to fund the project. The Hospital Authority feels the parking lot is integral to the long-term success of Senior Citizen Center. If we can help with the city get this project moving, we are prepared to do so. I proposed the Hospital Authority would fund $100,000 towards a parking lot construction project with the city. We would stipulate that this project would have to commence construction within 90 days. If after 90 days the project has not started construction, the dirt being moved, the Hospital Authority will no longer participate in the funding. If this council tonight approves the proposal, the Hospital Authority will have a called meeting this week to do the same. I feel there's support for the proposal from the members of the Hospital Authority, and I have discussed this with. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. We do have the funds in the City Hall account, in line item, to be able to cover the other side of this expense, if this is the direction council wishes to go.
So just point out that, like I said, that this was originally conceived by the engineering design folks that would maybe be $125,000. That money was budgeted. And then obviously by the time the bids came in, and we were closer at 200, 199. And so that's the shortfall, thus the vote at the last council meeting. So,
So
we now have an opportunity before us.
So yeah, clarifying, this is not coming out of the general fund. It was
No,
already
sir.
approved budget.
Well, it's coming out of the general fund. It's not coming out of fund equity.
But it was
Not coming out of fund
budgeted,
equity.
It was budgeted for 125.
Yeah, 125 budget.
All right.
So would anyone like to make a motion on this item?
So moved. Go ahead, Artie.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the partnership with the Hospital Authority on the parking lot. And I'd just like to say that just pending approval from the Hospital Authority, they're meeting this week, so long as they approve their 100,000, that we'll match them with ours.
I'll second it.
And just information, because I know the question will come up, if I may, for clarity purposes, we have had conversations with the vendor, and we're pretty comfortable that we'll have dirt being moved quicker than what we anticipate.
Good. Good.
Any other discussion?
What's the total cost of the parking lot?
$199.
199,
Okay, that's good.
Since we're in discussion, since it is a pressing issue, I know we kind of had a discussion. Are we going to try to offer, say, like a golf cart valet service? Is that something that we're going to try to move forward on until we can get the parking lot done?
I think this is going to be quicker than what we anticipate, sir, to be honest with you.
Does this include a handicap ramp? Is there one in the back of
There
the
is.
building already?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, there is.
Good, actually.
It's ADA compliant currently,
Okay.
but the parking spaces will have ADA compliance as well.
Right, and once we do begin construction, having a parking lot in the back will, because right now they're having to go through the building, which will be under construction, so it will really be important
Correct.
at that point, so.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you, Robbie.
thank you, Mr. Horton. Probably with a Y. All right, the next item is the item L, the update on local maintenance improvement grant, locations, completion date, deadlines. I think Mr. Mars got a schedule. He's going to bring us up to date first, and then we'll go from there.
All right, good evening again. All right, this is a update on the four LMIG projects that we have that have been awarded. Starting with our 22, and if you look, there are 22, 23, 24, and then the supplemental. They were all awarded at the same time. The contractor that was awarded all of them, separate bids, was Seaboard Construction. Since that time, this was all done, Seaboard has been bought out by another large asphalt company called Reeves Construction Company. However, there's no change on anything but name on our contracts. Deadlines, quantities, costs, everything are all the same. So going forward, if you hear Reeves, that's formerly known as Seaboard. So, all right, so if we look into the LMIG 2022, these are the projects that were awarded under that grant. On St. Mary's Road, there is some striping on the four overpasses. That can't be done with paint because of the bridges. So that is thermo. Then Bowen Court, that's a more than just an overlay, that's actually a reconstruction on that little Bowen Court section off of Bowen Street. And then Tepete Lane, which is overlay, and then a piece of Sugar Mill Boulevard from Mariana out to St. Mary's Road. And moving to 2023. The projects that were awarded under the 2023 LMIG, we have Hancock Place from Chatillon Drive to the end of the pavement. We have Dove Hollow Court from Hancock to the end of the pavement at the cul-de-sac. Nature's Bounty Trail from Schoolhouse Creek to the end of the pavement. And then Nature's Bounty Court from Nature's Bounty Trail to the end of the pavement. And then to the 2024 LMIG. Hallows Drive from address 205 Hallows Drive down to the end of the pavement. The East Church Street from Osborne to Ready, East Weed Street from Reddy Street over to Norris, Reynolds Street from Sloan Street to the end, and Crichton Way from McIntosh Drive to the end. All right, then we have our supplemental, which was money that DOT awarded us that didn't come with a match. So that project, the streets on it were Bayard Court from Old Mill Drive to the cul-de-sac, St. Helena Court, Old Mill Drive to the end of the pavement, Pinedale Court from Pinedale Drive to the end, and Martha Drive from State Route 40 up to the school entrance. And all those projects are on a timetable such that the contract time runs out July 30th. In this transition from Seaboard over to Reeves, they're reluctant to give us any kind of hard, fast start date, so they gave us June 1st as a start date. That gives them enough time to complete the 4 projects by their deadline. However, I do believe that once they get this transition to the new company all situated and they figure out their crews and how everything is going to work together, I do feel that they will start sooner than this June 1st. But at this point, all we can go by is their timetable of starting on or before June 1st. And then going forward, our 2025 LMIG, we should have that bid out by the end of next week. That was approved by DOT, and we received the funding, and that will be Mission Trace Drive from Coleraine up to Pete Lane. So, timeline for that one, once we go out to bid, of course, take 30 days just for advertisement, a few weeks to get the bids in, get it submitted to the council agenda, and then once council makes an award, then there's around a 10-day time for the contractor to get all their bonds, all their contracts signed, get it back to us so we can issue notice to proceed, and there will be a 6-month project timeline on that. Any questions?
Mr. Moore, you, I think it was in 23, you talked about Norris Street, from Norris Street to where?
Let's see.
I should have asked you while you were going over it.
It was East Weed Street from Reddy to Norris.
East Weed Street?
East Weed Street from Reddy over to Norris, that block section.
Okay,
But it wasn't paving on Norris Street.
okay.
So going back to Mission Trace on the upcoming,
The 25, yes, ma'am.
does that mean that they have 6 months once a contract is sent out?
From notice to proceed.
Yeah.
So once we get the contracts
Okay.
back, once the mayor signs off with all the bonds in place and everything, then from that point, we issue notice to proceed, and that starts the clock. From that point, they will have 6 months to complete the project.
Okay.
It's a good project.
Is there anything we can do in the interim with the potholes? Are we still
Yes, ma'am,
working
we're
on
still-
those
yes, ma'am.
constantly? Yeah.
Yes, we're out
Pretty
to bid
much.
actually on those replacements for all those culverts, those 3 remaining culverts. That project is currently out to bid.
Okay.
I think it's April 15th, bid opening date, somewhere around there.
Can you just kind of tell us, remind us how we got to 25 where we still had kind of 22 and 23, the MIG funds?
Yes, sir. We had a project that was on Douglas Drive that was held up, and you couldn't move forward with these other years. That 21 project which was Douglas Drive, until these were taken care of, because you had to do progress reports. So once we got all that situated with that 2021 LMIG, and was able to show DOT the progress on that award, then they were able to release these next ones to go forward.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Mark.
Thank you.
And the final item is item M.
That's how we do it, that's right.
Wanted a big
Thanks, Al.
introduction.
There you go, this is how we do it, Chad.
This is how we do it. I did ask for this to be put on the agenda in regards to our work session that we held at 5 o'clock today. Within our discussion, we, covered a lot of things to include, Councilman Nascimento, to request on the agenda last meeting for a $2 blanket pay raise for Public Works. We reviewed what we already have in place for existing pay raises as far as COLA and merit-based pay raises that are coming in July 1st. And I think with our discussion with staff leading up to the work session and trying to get us in the best place in respects to the budget and our employees, that I'll go ahead and make a motion, then we can have discussion further if we, before we vote. But what I believe we came up with is I'd like to make a motion that we have a $1 an hour pay raise for 4 key positions that were identified for our highest positions of turnover, retention, and hiring. And those are equipment operator 1, equipment operator 2, meter readers, and at the senior center assistants. And I would like to say that those should be effective on 3/26, beginning of the next pay period. And that's the motion. Then we can have discussion.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, by Mr. Rassi.
And I'll discuss too. I know I made the motion. I didn't want to tail into it. The rest of the city is going to be addressed. It's only July 1st. That's when our new budget starts. To dip into our fund mid-year, make a budget adjustment that seemed to be the most respectful towards that and still addressing some of the key positions. We're going to have more discussions about this in the budget for what actually happens on July 1st. But based off what it's looking like, it will be close to a $2 an hour pay raise for most positions. It'll be a slightly larger increase with that $1 an hour for our lower paid positions that are entry level, and that we do have some trouble keeping at times. And they will, have the ability after the $1 and the merit-based 4% that is coming in July 1st to get, I believe it came to about $1.65, very close to $2. And I did the math on what it would take to get a $2 an hour pay raise. So if you're making currently $24 an hour, if we did decide to approve $1 for everyone with a 4% merit-based pay increase, you're at $2 an hour pay raise. So it's going to be very close to that for everyone when we get into our budget discussion before July 1st.
Any other discussion?
This $1 an hour raise, it will begin on the 26th.
March 26th, the next pay cycle, the beginning of the next pay cycle after the pay period.
So that's $106,530.
No, ma'am, it's like, was it
That's
58?
for the one.
Yeah, I believe it was like,
So
was it 18,000
it
roughly,
is-
somewhere in that range for mid.
Half of 58.
Oh, is it?
16, there we go.
Salaries, retirement 686, and FICA was 1,296. There's change on.
Where is that?
On this blue and.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, I was looking for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
I just want to see something get done. So, I mean, I'm going to vote yes on this for $1. I really think it needs to be 2, but that would be under the, I guess, the pretense that when we do our budget discussion, that I'd like to see Public Works get another $1 an hour raise when we do our budget discussions. But I think we need to, and this is an emergency, and we need to enact something now. So I just want to get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you add those totals up, it was $18,932.67.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
And that brings us to our calendar, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. On Tuesday, March 23rd at 2:00 p.m., we have the St. Mary's Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority meeting at the Ward Hernandez Building. The CVB has changed their meeting. The date is still the fourth Tuesday of each month, but is now held at 2:00. Followed behind that will be the 5:30 p.m. Historic Preservation meeting here in Council Chambers. And on Friday, March 28th, at 9 o'clock, we have St. Mary's Municipal Court trials, followed by the 11 o'clock St. Mary's Municipal Court plea and arraignments. On Wednesday, April the 2nd, on Wednesday, April the 2nd, we have the Development Authority of St. Mary's meeting in Main Street. On Thursday, April the 3rd at 10 o'clock a.m., we have a pre-bid for Mission Trace Drive. Looks like a culvert replacement here in Council Chambers, followed by a 2:00 p.m. tree board meeting in the Planning and Building Conference Center. And then also on Thursday, April the 3rd at 5:00 p.m. here in Council Chambers, the second quarter master plan update, followed by the 6:00 p.m. town hall meeting. And on Friday, April the 4th, we have municipal court. And on Monday, April the 7th at 6:00 p.m. city council meeting, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, council comments. Anybody?
So first.
All right. So mayor comments. I just did have one comment I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. We are undergoing what's called the RSVP, the Renaissance Strategic Vision and Plan for kind of reimagining what can be happening, what can Midtown can go on. This is a Carl Vincent Institute of Government program, and there is a website seeking your input. It is imaginestmarys.com. So encourage you to all go and fill out the survey and tell us what you'd like to see about Midtown in particular, and give any other input there that is asked for. So we appreciate your input there. So with that, we do have executive sessions on legal matters, real estate, and personnel. I do not believe we will be making any type of motion or anything afterwards. I don't think so. So you're welcome to stay until we come back and actually adjourn council meeting. But I don't believe there's actually going to be any business that will transpire at that time. So I will entertain a motion to move into
So moved.
executive session. Mr. Rassi?
Second.
A second by Mr. Ingram. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Madam, that's at 7:22.
Yes, sir.
What are you
Yeah, yeah.
You know where they're moving to, right?
corned beef and cabbage somewhere.
You really don't even have
He
to
did
go all the way
himself on
down.
the marina for his own selfish purpose of parking his yacht there.
He made promises, but not the can.
Is everybody in here?
Yeah. Well, that's what, Kristen, do you, like, he didn't do much over there, did he? Because when I went to go look at it, I don't think he did much.
I'm sure your microphone won't say that.
Yeah.
Go up.
We're gonna go back into regular session with a second by,
Oh, give me 1 second, sir.
we already made a motion to go back into regular session.
No.
I just did.
And
already
We're
seconded.
recording yet, so
Give me 1 second.
can't do it until we get rid of the recording.
Okay, I'm ready, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to go back into regular session.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Ingram and a second by Mr. Jones to return to, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sorry if I spoke your thunder.
All right, and I will
I'll motion to
entertain.
be adjourned.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jones and Ingram, the other way around. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're out of here before 8:30.
Thank you, sir.
Did I cut you off? Sorry.
But hey, Greg,
My stomach
if he
hurt.
wants to buy the museum downtown.
Good night, y'all.